قمرة يا حبيبي جنوب يا جوا قمرة كيف نسانية دنيا قيافة النجمة نجمة دنيا جميلة النجمة نجمة قمرية بفوري في الشجرة بقول بنية قمرية بنغنم في الشجرة بقول بنية دولة بتاعنا دولة هنا دقنا باب لماما كل فتالنا هنا قلنا سلامات لمريم هي سلم علينا هنا قلنا أكيفو كلوا وقفوا لنا جنوب يا نانا يا نانا بابا بفكر في الشجرة عشان يربي يالو ماما بفكر في الدنيا عشان ما يشاف بنية بفكر في القلبة عشان محبة جنوب يا ماما يا نانا بنية قيافة زي النجمة بنية جميلة زي النجمة نجمة قمرية بفوري في الشجرة بقول بنية جنوب بنغنغ في الدنيا بقول بنية جنوب يا جوا قمرة هي جنني جنوب يا جوا قمرة كيف خلانية جنوب يا بابا جنني كمان 3 بنات انا لقيتهم في السكة انا شفتهم ماشي لمدرسة حبيبية 7 بنات انا لقيتهم في السكة دي انا شفتهم ماشيين كنيسة كله جيرانية بنية بسلي لربنا بنية بمجد ربنا شوف بنية مسؤولية الواحد في الدولة يا نجمة مسؤولية 2 في الدنيا يا بنية مسؤولية 3 في الدولة دي يا بابا ماما جنوب يا ماما عليزا يا ودي شباب جمجمة جنوب يا سيستا يا مغل المشوار جنوب يا ماما يا مدوى أبني مسؤولية واحد دولة يا نجمة مسؤولية 2 دنيا يا بنية مسؤولية 3 دولة يا بابا ماما
How is that? Are people hearing me now?
How is that?
Okay. Now that's okay. I can see that's happening. Sorry. That means you guys on the clubhouse, you are the only people who are hearing me. People on Facebook somehow they miss me. Thank you so much, guys. Are you okay now? Yep. John Howe says it's okay. Rita says sounds okay. Uh, apology, people. That's what I said. They actually schedule live. Something happened wrong with it. I clicked go live and it ended at the same time, without knowing I was doing that. So that probably muted the microphone. But what? Let me get back, rewind a bit, because people at Clubhouse, they heard me. Uh, the topic today, as you read it early, it's about the lost childhood. I mentioned that childhood is lost. There are few children in South Sudan who have lost their childhood, and what do I mean by that is إنه زمان كنا بنلعب بعلبة, بنجيب علبة بتاع لبن بنقطع وبنعمل عربات, أو بتقطع كرتون بتعمل شكل بيت, أو بتعمل تين تعمل شكل بقرة ولا شكل كلب, شكل ناس. منو عمل سينما بورقة وسكسك, لمبة زمان لمبة صغيرة بسموه سكسك, منو عملها جدا. So these are all childhood stuff. بنات بيكون عملوا في childhood بتاعهم they have done البصلصة كولوكوس, المهم بيكون عملوا فوق شوية ركبوا شكل ركبوا ملا وحاجات دل. So these are childhood. Believe it, there were things we didn't know about. Things like guns. Making a gun from tin. We never knew about this part, but we were busy doing the other things. But there are children right now in South Sudan, there are generations who has missed this bit. They've missed their childhood completely. They've missed out, really, they've missed out playing with this stuff, because they are moved straight away from birth to adolescent, or not just adolescent, or best, mama farmalo fogo, is straight away to adulthood. So they've missed out in the middle. So please, guys, share. I apologize that the sound wasn't there earlier. Please share the link anywhere you can عشان الفائدة يمشي لكل زول. الحلقة مهم جدا. And if you are coming back, of course, I've talked about the Zoom decorum. I will not repeat it again. You all know about it. So this childhood is missed. Now, when childhood is missed, it's an issue. We all know that for sure. A child that did not experience their life as a child, they will miss a lot in their adulthood, because with the missing of their childhood, they will be missing a lot of things that happen to go with them. So, for example, if I have to say, now for the children, is a zaman when we were asked, can fi bika fi bet zatu, children will be put to a neighbor. But right now, what is happening? The children of today, they know about another child who got killed. They know about another uncle who was shot during the day or at nighttime. They know about a neighbor who got killed. Iyal sugar hasa القبر ده اللبن وقابو كوريك بالنهار وكل حاجة ماشي, بس أول ما يكون في صوت طلقة جينا بسكت. Now even the babies know the sound of the gun. They go quiet for good. They don't even cry. We do know this happened to dogs. Well, I've visually experienced war situation. Dogs go quiet during the war. لما يكون في الضرب بالليل وجدل كلاب بسكت كله. Because even the dog realized that this is a matter of survival. It go how why they know. That's happening with the children, the same thing. Babies know. Can you imagine that 3 months old baby knows it stops crying? What message does that convey in your head? What is happening to that child? All the children at home go quiet. No more yelling, no more crying. They are all quiet until Sotselade give. It's an issue, isn't it? Children no longer know, right? Or the grandma's stories. We grew up with our grandmother's stories. Children don't have children. There are generations of South Sudanese children who have completely missed out on that. Not because the grandmother is dead, but because there is no time for this stuff to happen. The family unit lives on a survival mode 24/7, especially when it gets dark. And somebody's gonna go like, I got to kalam there because you know what? It always to gul kalam ka fa. Yes, and million yes. Who in Juba or Wow or Malakal at night time that sits for your hosh betam past 10 o'clock or 11, watching TV or listening to music? You don't do that. Because if you keep watching that TV, there's somebody walking around the street thinks that the TV that it's good for them, not for you. So they will come around for it. If you're listening to music, they think that the music device that you're using, it is theirs, not yours. They will come around for it. Or generator tagdelo is still running past Sahidashar Bilel. They come around because they think your generator is a better model. That's why it is running for long. They will come for it. So my question is, when is those grandmothers to tell the stories? It's not going to happen. It's not happening. It's not happening because that's how life has set itself up. And life did not set itself up like that out of nothing, but actually something caused it to be like that. And we will come down to what is the something or who caused all of that, because life was never meant to be that way. Not for us, not for our generations, not for anyone. Our life was meant to be better than that. We were supposed to be able to see things in a better way. We were supposed to be able in this millennia for our children to grow up nicely. Let me just give you some glimpse from something that I've seen somewhere to do with Tahrir Save the Children in 2017, which really it paints a picture that gives you really what's happening. You know, it paints you a picture you don't want to see, and you will ask yourself like exactly why all of this is happening to us. Why is it? Why can't somebody do something about it? Yes, we are not alone. You know, it happens in many places. I know that. I have no problem with that. It happened around the world. It happened around the globe. You know, even in America, there's issues of children with children. Here in Australia, there is issues. In Canada, there is issues. Everywhere you go, there is issues. But the problem is, how does these issues get looked into? That's the difference. It's how the issues are looked into. If we don't look at the issues from the right angle, so to speak, then we have a problem. You know, but I'm particularly interested in our own issues as Junubin, because that's what I care for. That's what is pissing me off. I look around the street in Juba, in Wau, in Malakal, you know, anywhere, and I go like, what did these children do to deserve that? Because those children didn't do anything to deserve the way they are going through, the way they are being treated. And the government is sitting there. It has nothing to do with them, really. To be honest, the government has nothing to do with these children. The government look at them and just like, that's fine. But that's about it. If you can get some, some money, you put it there, and that's about it. That's what they do. They don't think about anything. You know, and that's where you make money. You don't have any service for these children. عيال كتار مشردين. You know, عيال مشردين في شوارع في كل محل. You really you don't care. That's what it is. You know. والله أنا قاعد نحاول. What do you أنت قاعد تحاول شنو? The system or the so-called government needs to do a whole lot for these children. This children's future is lost. Children born and die before the age of 5. Children who do not go to school. Children who suffer from malnutrition. Children who suffer from either domestic violence or conflicts in the country. Children nobody hear about. So, and you tell me that no, that's okay. I don't believe it's okay. If it's okay, it shouldn't be there. Now, this child, what did she do? What did this child do to deserve this? I'm asking each one of you. I know you guys are in Clubhouse. You can see the picture, but it's a picture of a child that's lying down on the ground. Yeah. Children who have children, and that's a funny one. Children who have children, and that is early pregnancy. They are not even at the age that they deserve to their body can carry the child. Yeah, some children have a bigger body build or anything, but then that leads us into something else. That means that child is raped. And should I remind you with the current case in Juba now, where a 4-year-old child was raped by an old person? I mean, I'm trying to think about it, and I can imagine that picture in my head. Children who are uprooted by war conflicts. This one. Now, the only thing it knows is the gun it's holding. Not more than that. Now, tell me when this one grows up, when this child grows up, becomes an adult, what exactly does this child have in their mind? Because this doesn't go to school. That's all it does. All it knows is ifika silado irakibu to point it and shoot. Exactly. We have children who work. We have seen Fijuba. I couldn't find that one around. The picture of a child who rabat kan marde miten wala tultumia bagab tamoya cristal to carry it to make some money for the family. This is what I was saying early. Children of today are just making guns from tin. This is something I've never done in my life, to make a gun from tin, not even from carton. But we used to make cars, and we used to compete in who can manage to cut that ilbalabanda to make it a nice Arabic. And then we start making kanun, manga, and a charcoal stove, excuse me. We start making this stuff. So we have issues. These children are all gone. And you wonder what is happening on the streets of Juba. Little young girls, 15 to 18 or to something, are roaming the hotels. And you don't know the reason of it. And you think maybe it is just أهلنا أبو كروش دل هم السبب في كده. No, these are parasites. They found the ground dirty, filthy, littered with children who have been abused, who have been abandoned. That's why it was easy for them to pick up those little girls and take them to hotels. Yeah. So, how do we see all of this? Do we see it as, oh, normal? It's okay? Because if that's what you're thinking in your head, I'm really having an issue with you now. How did you get to know it's okay? Where did you get that idea from? Where did you get the idea from? 263 million طفل برا من مدارس ده حول العالم. How many do we have in South Sudan who are not in school? I had a quick calculation earlier on, and it was too sad. It was too sad because I just couldn't bring myself to look into it. You have 156 million طفل كويس من سن خمسة سنة نمو بتاع جسم بس بجيف ما نجي بس جي جوما جتما ngoro ما نجي فاضل تحت. They don't go anywhere بس بفاضل زي ما هم. They remain as they are. How many from this 156 million, and this is based on the تقرير بتاع Save the Children in 2017. Every day, 16,000 child die before they reach the age of 5. And many of those reasons are reasons that can be prevented. Now, if that is every day, 16,000 are dying, how many do we have in South Sudan? Out of that 60,000 dying every day for reasons we could have prevented. See, for the deaths of under 5 years old in South Sudan alone, that is in 2016, for every 1,000 children born alive, 92.6% of them die. Well, now you start thinking, what is 92.6% of 1,000 live born? You can do the calculation if you want to, but I'll make it easy for you. For every 1,000 child that is born in South Sudan live, 926 of them die. Under the age of 5. They don't hit 5. Can you see the picture? Can you see how difficult that is? And can you see that the so-called government is doing nothing? I'll say it again, and I'll say it slowly so you get it. I'll say it slowly. For every 1,000 live-born children in South Sudan, 92.6% dies before they reach the age of 5. So the 92.6% translate into, out of 1,000, 926 will die for sure. And the remaining Al-Shader, they will hit the age of 5 years old and they will continue a little bit and die ahead because of something else. Pathetic. Marriage. Children marriage. And when I say children, child marriage, don't be thinking about 4 years old getting married or anything. Hey, 16 years old is a child. 17 is a child. 18 is a child. %40.1 get married in South Sudan. But not, of course, cows, whatever. Come on, you think about the 16 years old and you're thinking about a tiny person. No. MashaAllah, they are built. Findana banat صغار لكن جسم طبعا is built كبار and people look at that and they think or bigger miraculous. How about children who have children? Children who have children. What is their percentage in South Sudan? 63.3 of every 1,000 child. You will find 63.4% of them, of that 1,000, are married, not married, but are children who have children. Well, what is it really? So from every 1,000 children, you will find 634 of them have children. So a child bearing a child, and it would have been okay if we say raising a child. They cannot even raise a child because they need somebody to raise them first. We have roughly between 2 million to 3 million children who have been relocated to Sambala because of the conflict. If you're thinking about it, now you start thinking about the other stuff. Start thinking about education. Do these children get education? Nope. Do they get a nutritious, food, anything? No. Do these children have right to education? Yes, but nobody gives a damn. Please share. Please share. If you don't want to talk here on the camera, I'm about to wrap this down. So I'll put the link out for everyone who wants to come up. If you want, then we can still go and discuss this a bit more on Clubhouse. That's not a problem. No? They miss out on education, and nobody really say a thing about it. They miss out. They miss out. If your parents or your family are not well off, you're done. Are there children who are living on begging? Yes. Are they begging just to survive, or they're begging to help their family members? There are most of these children who are begging to support their families. If a child of a 10 years old or 11 or 12 years old is start realizing that what they are doing, the little job they are doing by begging on the street, puts a food for their sick mother or sick dad, that child has transitioned so fast from being a child who is supposed to be taken care of into someone who's now taking care of an adult. That doesn't sit well with the natural progression of growing up of that child. And definitely it impacts on them down the track. Those girls get raped. They start believing maybe that's the easy way to live. Because once they get raped, now everyone comes around, give them kamsa guinea or ashara guinea, and they start believing that's a way to help the family. And we come down, we ask the question, who is really responsible from all of this? Because when we start asking questions, people think that we are making it up. But we start asking the real question. Those children, and you can look, you can see this. This is in 2017. The red are the countries at the bottom of the stolen or lost childhood. You can see Junub Sudan is number 166. And don't look at Chad or Somalia and tell me, oh, we're still better. No, we're not better. Anything that is within this red is worst. In this country, these 10 countries, children are in danger of everything you can imagine. But the one in blue and the color blue, these are the top of the list. Children in these 10 countries in blue, listed under blue, are very, their danger, being in danger is very, very little, very mild. They have everything. The funny thing about this list is that South Sudan, with all its resources, some of these countries in list in blue have nothing, not even half of what, a quarter of what South Sudan has. It makes you think, isn't it? It makes you wonder, what is it? This is type of the things, this image here shows some of the things that children do around the world. Shagalin Fibut, like the first one on the right top there. Tanina Gal Khidma Askaria. You don't even call it Khidma Askaria. This type we have in South Sudan. It is child soldier. Said Samak fil Miyah al Amiqa. We don't have Miyah al Amiqa, lakin probably there are some parents who take their children on Tororo, Wajadil, Murkab. He said Samak, so that they can make money, make the ends meet for the family. Of course, that one is not there with Amal fi Ma'amal Nasij. We don't even have Ma'amal Nasij. We don't have the rest of it. We don't have Hasad al-Gutun Maindana. Fi definitely Mahal Umahat Gaini Kasuru Hujar fi Jebel. Fi some kids who are helping their moms there. There are children who are helping and working in construction. Siyat, we don't have it. Looking for precious minerals, we don't have that. There are some people who are working. Probably in Kapoita, you can find children, Zaman, looking, also helping their parents, trying to find gold on the streams by, Yughasil Tin, Utraba Jaddel. There are children who used to do that. But this one, Raskusha, فتش راسكوشة البحث في مواقع النفايات راسكوشة ومحلات دل. Most of our children do that. Right now, go to Juba, you see it. Those of you who are in Juba now, it is 4:30 or whatever the time is now in the evening. You just need to stand out and look. this is happening. Brick making, not as a job, but I've seen children doing that. I've seen children doing that. So, who's responsible? And for those parents of these children, I personally think the government or the so-called government should compensate those children. The country should compensate those children, all the child soldiers, all the children who got raped during our troubles, all those who missed out of schools. And parents of children who died, whose children died in the process. They should be compensated. To me, the responsible culprit in this situation, is the government. The government of Kira Sekir is the responsible for these atrocities. This lost generation of South Sudanese children, among whom you could have ministers, you could have directors, you could have teachers, you could have, you name it. Kan Hetland Benat Faldil. The government is responsible for their lost childhood. The government should compensate their families and compensate these children so that they should rehabilitate themselves. They will not regain their lost childhood, but they will rehabilitate and integrate into society much better. I've posted the link there for whoever wants to come up and say something. The link is there. You can come and say. But this is what I'm saying. This is what I brought in. Take it. Think about it. Our lost childhood children. How do we regain their lost childhood? Probably by now you realize, we cannot do that. But we can help rebuild them. We can rehabilitate these children. Some are now adults, by the way. But they're adults who do not benefit the society or the country itself. Because there are no programs in place that will help them be who they want to be. Some of them have no confidence at all. Some of them have no confidence in anything. Some of them are pure drunkard. Some of them are rapists. Some of them are drug addicts. Some of them are pure evil. There is nothing beautiful in their face. Anything they see beautiful, they will destroy it. So, Junubin, this is serious. If you have your child with you now and they're going to school and blah, blah, I believe we have like 4 or 5 generations of children who have lost their childhood. And some of them are adult now, like I said. You can detect them if you watch closely around you. If you see someone who like to play with lib Betayal, if you see someone around you who love to play with lib Betayal for no reason, he has no reason. He finds a kid's playing, he's quickly sitting down there, pick up the thing, he's serious in it. He's trying, it is triggering up something he never did. It looks nice to him. There are those who will sit down and watch cartoon movies only. They are ready to watch it from morning to evening. There is no explanation. They will just tell you, well, I like it. Yes, we all like cartoon movies, but not to actually dedicate yourself to sit from morning to evening watching it. So there are few those who are trying to relive their childhood. And of course, you see that في الخواجات تلقى زول شاب خلاص 19 وماشي 20 سنة. They had some leap كده they play. You ask yourself, what is this شغل عبط ولا شغل عوار الجماعة فوق? Because actually some of them missed out on their childhood. And that's what affects them. That's why you see them laughing and ضحك تاني ما عنده معنى وجرجرة وناس كبار جرجرة ترى زي عيال صغار. Lurit Yugusuk, it says your device not connected. Maybe you need to get off and make sure your camera is yes and your mic is yes, so you can come back. So this is what is happening. So you look closely around you, you will see the suspects that I'm telling you about. Exactly, Moses Latam. That's true. These are the stuff. So it is. You can see it is important that each of us should have a childhood. That's why حتى كلاب ذاته لما يلدوا يا الكلاب ده تلقاهم كان يلعب في جنبهم يلعب يقلب blah 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 until they grow up. Few months they go each way. But you want to see the impact of missing childhood بتاع that كلب شيل جرو صغير من ولدك تشيله برا من بقية الفوتبول and you go be the one raising that little one, unless you just sitting في يده بس تماسكه في يدك زي ما تقعد تمسح فوق لانه it is beautiful and everything. If you just leave it as it is, it will develop a nafsiyat. That little dog, because it doesn't know the childhood. You just uprooted it from the siblings. You uproot that little dog from the siblings. Now it doesn't know that. It grows up only knowing that there are people around here and they are given food. That's about it. That's why when that dog grows up a little bit and it starts learning to play with people, it plays a little bit, what you could say, a little bit harsher. No, it doesn't bite, but it will just, you're sitting there, it will just jump on you, and because that's what it thinks is the play. It's trying to sort of triggering to remember the where is the the childhood, and it thinks that's the way because it grew up among you, the two-legged ones. But when you compare it to the one of the siblings that are left behind that was mingling around with the other 3 or 4, those ones come out fine because they come out and then learn something else. They have their childhood or doggy childhood or doggyhood, whatever you want to call it, and then it grows up. They get adopted by two-legged humans. Now it knows there's a difference, but I've had that one. It will play with you, but it has its own limit also for that play. How many of you seen a dog that you're playing with, then it start going because you've hit the limit. But the other one is metal. It just play. It never stops because it doesn't know what is next. So this is the problem. Missing that childhood. For some of you who are listening, some will go like, you're wasting your time. No, I'm not wasting my time, really. I'm raising awareness. There are missing generation amongst us. And should we just let them go like that? Your device still playing up, mic or cam is not, you got to make sure you give permission to your camera or mic, Lurid. So that's the problem. That's the issue we're facing. So we need it to fix it. And to fix it, we need to find the culprit. If I don't want to go anywhere, I'm just going to hold the 17 years. The children who are littering Shawara fi Awil, Shawara fi Wow, Shawara fi Juba, Shawara fi Malakal, Shawara fi Yambio, fi Tombura, fi Nimule, fi Kulu Mahalat del. Whose responsibility are they? Why aren't they in school? Why don't they have health, clean water to drink? Why don't they have nutritious food to have? Why are these children finding themselves, some of them finding themselves need to work to help them support their families at that very young age? What is the job of Wazara الرعاية الاجتماعية? That's nice. Of Wazara الرعاية الاجتماعية. That's nice. Of what? Okay. So what is their job? All the child soldiers, some of them are still there, but the system is looking at them as adults now. When they stop working as the soldiers, what are they going to do next? Will they be okay? Not traumatized? Are they going to do? All right. Are they going to be okay? Not traumatized? What's going to be there? How can we guarantee that they will not start shooting children or in the school or shooting people in the market? How can we guarantee that they will not do that? People, my people, we have problem. And this problem, we shouldn't be the one talking about it. The people who are supposed to be talking about these problems are not us. It is supposed to be the system. But unfortunately, it is now us. Because what we see back there is people who have jobs only to have money out of it, and they don't care about the children. And I haven't even touched the adults who are begging on the streets at all. Or the SPLA soldiers, like the classic example that we have of that soldier who Rabat Jarabta for Daharu Tani fi Yedu, begging along the streets of Juba in uniform. Sister Lurit, welcome. I believe this is Sukhun Shuya.
Yeah, thank you. Al Hinaya Al Kams, it doesn't want to open.
That's all right.
Yeah. So I just managed to have my voice coming in. And the topic is very good, and it's with what happening in South Sudan, we're supposed to care for kids. We're supposed to care for child because they are the future. And That's supposed to be key to maintain that there is something is being done about those children. I know in South Sudan, children have went through a lot of trauma. And if generational trauma happening within South Sudan
Mm.
from these all 50 something years of war. Kids are absorbed and grown up and have trauma, and then their off children also have the same trauma. I remember one of my relative in America. She said, "We grow up in this war and we have our own trauma. I'm going to bring you up here in America, but forget about my trauma. You are new generation. Don't think about it." And that's true. In the first world, when you a child, they always assist your upbringing. That's very important. How you've been raised, how you've been brought up, what kind of things happen in your life. All of these should be remembered and acknowledged, because that will determine who you are when you grow up. لكن الحاجات ده ما بيحصل في جنوب السودان، لأنه ناسنا في جنوب السودان الchild هسه ده سين. قبل كده اتكلمنا معاك يا مولانا لي، اتكلمنا about إنه في ريت education ما في الجنوب. يعني جينا في sometimes عيال بيوصلوا أكتر من 7 سنة ما في عندهم أي preschool education. And that in itself that's the golden age. A child becomes a sponge, suck more information and learn much in that age from year من 1 لحد 6. That's the foundation for children. عشان كده مع الدول المتقدمة developed countries, they focus very much and invest very much in preschools and bring the much things that the children need in that time, like playing games, like exposing them to new ideas for education, new things, training, challenge their thinking. كله ده في preschool. So to make sure that عيال are being utilizing their thinking, utilize their capacities as well. وده ما بيحصل في الجنوب. يعني في الجنوب تلقى جنا I remember when my kids went holidays مع عيال أختي, they become having attitude of fighting. It's a norm. It's a norm, the attitude of fighting, not talking in a gentle way, thinking that everything should be taken. ده كله consequence of حرب برضه. And it's not easy اللي احنا ماشيين through it. وحاجات ده كله برفلكت في عيالنا. ما تشوفوا كده قالوا ما شايفين. They are seeing it and they are living it and they are observing it and it's affecting them in a negative way. لأنه الناس عايشين في villages كده، الناس عيال عايشين بس escape. They are all turned on to survive only. في kids like that in South Sudan who are just being turned on to think how to survive the other day. And بيشوفوا هو مشرد and he's not thinking about anything except how to survive for today. And that's not going to bring a child that is going to be developmental أو عنده ذاته values أو have to care for others. He's not. He's thinking that the society have betrayed him. And if we want to say about the government, forget about it. ما في policies. Even there is not a stable curriculum in South Sudan. ما في. كل مرة بيغيروا curriculum, they take things out, they put new things. It's not stable. Education بالذات مفروض is stable for 10 years or so. My short terms have to be for 10 years, then they evaluate it and then they change according to the evaluation and the recommendations. لكن ده ما حصل في South Sudan. So there is a missing generation. I know that there is people who are trying to take their kids to private school. Lakin inequality is a key in a healthy country. You know, if we measure how many kids are educated and how many kids are not going to proper education, we can see the figures will tell that the majority of kids are not going to public schools properly, how they are not have a stable going to school every day. They are not. They have off and on, and moving and traveling. All of these have a damning effect. And it saddened me إنه الدنيا دي خلاص قاعد يتغير too much. That's the era of transformation where the digital era is happening, where
Mm.
kids have to be exposed to technology. واحنا في South Sudan كتاب ساكت جانا ما عنده في يدينه, while the government is busy with feeding themselves and not doing anything about the children. And those are the future, and that will determine the future of the country, not the things that is happening now or the adults that's happening now. Is the children that's having knocking effect. And if we say we are a few Alpha diaspora that can hold the country in South Sudan, we are mistaken, because the product of the things that happen in South Sudan on the children is gonna have a knocking effect on the country as a whole. And what's the good things is to start with the school and open with preschools and schools. Primary school have to be a must for children, have to be trying the best to make it free, because we have in South Sudan the schools are all is paid for. Some families cannot afford, and that's
Mm.
is also happening. ناهيك عن إنه زي ما أنت قاعد تقول لي you show us some of the photos في عيال they are coming from war zone villages, and they definitely not thinking the same way you are thinking. في تانيين exposed to trauma, rape, killings, their parents died in front of them. They are not well emotionally. Imagine you bring them along with other kids standing. How's they gonna feel? They are not feeling equal. They are not feeling the same way with the child القاعد في Medina ولا في town wherever he was moved to. And all of this is sucked in, observed in, and he's not exposing it. Will explode one day somewhere,
Yeah.
and have a knocking effect. ها نينو عيال اللي بيطلعوا criminals اللي بيحصل لهم psychological هنا ده بيقولوا عليه شنو distortion ده بيحصل في أحوال اللي عندهم have a trauma during the childhood.
That's true. That's true. And may I also add that free education is not a privilege. It's the right.
It's a must. Yeah.
It is the right to all children, all as a South Sudanese, especially the children. So what is happening in South Sudan now? That education that they are trying to say. That's why you see the number of private schools surpass the number of government school, because they think education is a privilege. And so all the haramia and the fat cats al-mujudin fi hakuma de kulu, they take their children into those private schools because they believe education is a privilege to them, to their children. But that is not true. And education in a country should not be a privilege to few.
It shouldn't. And that in itself is a discrimination. That baraw in itself is discrimination. We don't want to say في حسد ولا ده, لكن that's inequality في society. If there is an inequality in society, it will expose the whole society into a lot of things that this society will go through.
Yeah.
Inequality because injustices, because community conflict, because a lot of things, and those all are result of unequal balance the resources even ذاته. لأنه أنت لما تشوف زول ده عنده وأنت ما عندك, you definitely will think why it's not for me. And then you have to analyze, you have to reason why that happened during that time. And when you find that cause of something, for example, the few advantage people using that opportunity to make themselves better, وفي النهاية تعرف ربنا ذاته بيشوف those اللي عندهم privileges ده, sometimes they go to those schools but they don't go far, and or even they don't achieve anything. وده الحاصل. even عندنا ناس بيدخلوا في scholarship while they don't deserve it, but لكن عشان عندهم privileges and advantages and they go there. while
Yeah.
الزول اللي يكون hard working ده, you get it by hard time and you go through a long journey. That the inequality, and inequality can lead to a longer term impacts, like griefs and rift between communities, and also we cause a kind of against those groups that who are having those privileges. And you can't say that إنه ما صح إنك تكون زعلان من الناس, إنه people will demand. And demands that is a rightful demand to ask why that happened and why should it happen. We've been fighting for this equal right for that, not be treated as a second class citizen. And here we go. We're still going for second class or more than that and worth. يعني في عيال في camps, يعني you end up the one making them for them schools. A lot of camps, a lot of areas. ما في مدارس. زي في مناطق زي بين سابوتاج villages في أيي وفي محلات في واو وفي محلات ما في, they can't go to school because they just been stopped from their normal life because of instability, security things. So kids staying at home, going nowhere. See, but pandemic, when it comes, also made the things worse, and the government find a rest, say, okay, Yalma machine madrasa, we're happy with that.
With you talking about that pandemic, I asked, and I was told that there are children who stayed home for 1 full year. And of course,
and more.
In the Kawaja world, when children were staying home during the pandemic, they did have virtual classes. They had virtual classes. But in South Sudan, you just lock the children, go for them for butte, with for barat. You're saying the reason schools are not on is because there is a excuse me, there is a pandemic in the country, and you are busy in the bar and the hotel. And this children
and there is pandemic and people dying, so you don't allow the kids to go while you are going in the bar. True. It's really serious, and that's have a knocking effect. And I believe, from background in the charitable work, they need to be talked to, need to be even motivated. Mafi programs, even TV, SSTV, they don't have a specific program for the kids. All the programs are foreign. We understand it's always foreign. Like, you have to, the government have to tell it programs.
I've seen a pathetic program, their trial to try to make a program for children, and I just like
they are very cheap programs.
This program don't make it. You're better off don't do it, because it's making everything worse. And guess where they get it from? The so-called private schools. A teacher is there, pronunciation is wrong, and privileged kids are sitting there, and they try to record it and bring it on TV. Of course, Junubin will say, oh, we had to start from somewhere. Bullshit. That is not how we start. That's how we get back. I don't like the foolish idea when our country was born in 2020 in the second millennium. That is wrong. We are in a better position to start everything perfect. You bring me
some capacity كمان في ناس كتار كانوا في capacity the education wise. Even if it's been provided to Jama Juba, where is the Department for Education, to look into this and to be done as a studied thing. So people will say what is suiting us, what is not. But they're not. They didn't start it anywhere in the right direction, and they don't want even to start it anywhere in the right direction. And I can see one day when I'm talking to people who have there's some sponsors who sponsored Abi School, eBay School in Western Bahra Ghazal, and I talked to them a lot from here, and I can see those individuals who come from the government part. They are so pathetic. They are they are just asking for just sponsors to come and build the school in South Sudan. Why is it supposed that their duty to do those kind of things? And even they are looking in the curriculum where IBA have established those kind of curriculum to use it in South Sudan, because it's very successful and it's very foreign and very suitable for the students, and they're just looking at it and they admire it, because all the children who go to that IBA school, when they sat the exam, most of them they are first or the 10th, three of them are in the first. ده ناس سكورهم جابوا درجات كبيرة من في أوائل في الليست في South Sudan. And that shows volumes. That shows that the government in South Sudan is not doing anything.
Nothing.
And it's just opening ways for sponsors. And that's also have disadvantage, because they are doing things in their own way. And that's not utilized to make it in a uniformer way where everyone learn the same subject. So it's also it's not a same measure. يعني عيال محرومين من childhood زي ما انت اتكلمت. There is no playgrounds. That's one of the things I'm thinking about. There is no playground for the kids. ما في facilities. شوارع are not safe. في عيال كتار اتعرضوا لحوادث تنقص موية in Juba. Huh?
That's true. You in Juba, just for a second. You who are watching us from Juba, if you think what we are saying here makes no sense because somehow you're one of the privileged, or you're just one of those who are saying, sweep it under the carpet, don't talk about it. Think about the future of your children. Think about it. Think about how much they have lost for no good reason. The only reason your children has lost out of their education, proper education, health, you name it, everything is because of the system that is sitting in J1. Think about it. I know a lot of people are watching from Juba, but just think about it. Think about it and link it up to what is happening. It's about to take place on the 7th of May in Washington, D.C. The rally, the other Junubin. It is all to restore this stuff, to restore your children to have a better future, better education, better health, better everything. A child should live their life the way it is supposed to live. It was supposed to, when it's born, it's supposed to play, have a playground, play at home, not go quiet because there is a sotalga. Not a child. And I'll tell you another story. I'll bring you up, your network plays up. I'll bring it.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll tell you the story. A child and a baby, not even a child, Yadobak comes to Shuru, was bitten by a scorpion 3 times. 3 times. Okay? 3 times. And that child didn't cry. Do you know why?
Gosh.
Because people were running.
Wow, that situation. Yeah.
Beaten 3 times by a scorpion. And you tell me no God, and you tell me we have a system. So this is why what we're talking about is imperative. It is imperative that you understand why are we talking about this stuff. We need to move you away from this list. We need South Sudan to move out of this list. Yeah? This list that puts at the bottom We need to move South Sudan from the bottom to the top list in the blue, from the red to blue. That's what we're trying to do. We don't want South Sudan to remain on this red line, this red color. We want them out of here. But how do we do that? When we have a regime with its ugly face sitting there, all it knows is to loot, loot and loot and loot and loot. Fadal, sister.
Yeah, and it's عيالنا ذاته في diaspora is proven to be very expensive. مش في diaspora, I mean عيالنا في East Africa. People are costing a lot of money to generate a lot of money to make those kids going to school. From where are they getting it? Some of them even have to work for the government عشان to get their kids to those schools. And it's that making that even is not fair on the في المجتمعات حقنا الجنوبيين. يعني we have a life cost in في Uganda and Kenya is very expensive. بيت ثم ثانيا مدارس ده كله ده factors واحنا ليه displaced because of insecurity في South Sudan. All are all coming down and just all channeled to say that the government is not doing any action and it's not making things possible. Huh? And if you're saying in Yana they are if they go to Ugandan school, they better go to Juba, no one will accept that. In Uganda it's far better for them to study there. It's stable, there is no war, everything is settled. While in Juba schools are not settled. ما كل يوم مدارس مفتوح في زمن في حوادث بيحصل they close the school without any notice. Huh? And when they close the school the curriculum is not stable. So يلي بس بيمشوا جايين ده بس عشان في قسط حاجات زي ده. So if you are trying to even is يعني the country is very hostile to bring up children, by the way. If you can say bluntly is like that. إنه محلة is very hostile for children to be brought up. إنه many factors can يعني بيخلي عيال ما بيقدروا يقوموا بطريقة الصحيحة. Against all these odd parents trying their best to make sure that عيال اللي وصلوا مدرسة أو at least بيخلوهم يوصلوا لحد الثانوي. الجامعة دي another thing. لكن عيال اللي مرحلة ابتدائية حقهم is really struggling for many families to make it right. وده فرضوا شنو؟ السيتويشن الموجود في جنوب السودان ما فرضوا أي حاجة تاني. لو كان أي زول قاعد في village حقه peaceful definitely school even for us تحت شجرة الجنوبيين قاعدين يعملوا تحت شجرة زول بيمشي يقرأ فوقه. And it will settle them. ويانا is not نقول عليهم نايف أو ما عيال عندهم ذكاء. They are so smart. ربنا gifted them with brain very clear. And you can look into the eyes, they understand things. Even they can, if you open for them the minds, they can speak 2 languages and 3 languages for a young age. يعني جانا بيوصل 5 ولا 4 سنة في عيال بيكونوا في Uganda وكينيا they speak Swahili like they are born in Kenya. They are Kenyans. And I saw that with عيال أخت بتاعي. They speak 3 languages in very young age and they are in age 4 they speak Arabic. They speak English, they speak Swahili. 3 languages, main 3 languages, and easy. They can speak it and move from this language to other very easily. And that's not something that we're supposed to, when we have that, زي ما بقول gift ربنا ادانا we use it in a good way. But it's not happening. At all, it's not happening. Huh? So the future is the system اللي الناس عاوزينه في ناس and في سوما is about those generation of kids that have to inspire them to make for them everything possible. But this situation الحاصل ده is not helping, is not settling them. And the government keeping fighting militias all over South Sudan. Few new militias are guys settled. Government is doing insurgents against them. So making even those villages are not safe.
That's true.
So حكومة لو كان صحيح understand the meaning of compromising for the sake of the people of South Sudan, they should done better than that. But they do insurgency and an attack on those villages simply because they are just after those army without caring for those kids. Are being victims to harib da. They lose their parents. Then Mafi Zol be support them. يا عشان كده احنا عندنا عيال يتامى في الشوارع جاي من all over the South Sudan
Yeah.
without the accompanying parents. And في
That's true.
النهاية هم بيطلعوا حرامية وبيطلعوا حاجات تانية. They have no future.
Yeah.
لكن في السوق هناك what's they gonna do with their future? Nothing.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. That's why that's where the importance of raising such issues comes around.
Yeah, you look at Khartoum. Khartoum now, young people, Shabab, the future is so glim. They are start to be they stealing people in the roads. They take your mobile. Even if you have high values, you have religious background, spiritual background. Like when the zuruf at coming in, you will change your attitude.
Yeah.
That's happening in Khartoum. Who can believe in Sudan بيقدر يسرق حاجة زول تاني? It's happening now. انت ما بتخلي even موبايل حاجة في ترابيزة جنبك هنا. في someone will run وبيخطف منك موبايلك ده في شوارع شارع النيل في خرطوم وفي بيوت حق ناس. It's so serious and just government that doesn't understand the value of their children and doesn't have program for it. It doesn't deserve to be respected or doesn't deserve have to be continued. Because even this opposition, IO and Hukuma, they haven't have any program for kids, for children in South Sudan.
You're asking that you're too generous. You're asking them about the program for the kids. They don't have program for the whole country. Why would they bother have program for children? No? So they cannot have a program for children because
accusation to be there's something in their conscience for future. History will tell about the things. History telling that what they have done in that.
All the future that you're thinking of is all about them. They only think about themselves. The future that they plan for is how man begini for kursinak, man bakulu, man besharago until the day they die. This is the future they think of. This is another future. Like I said, 17 years. These people should have thought about a million things, and by now, South Sudan should have been moving, tracking along the likes of Dubai and Behinat. Not to go Kenya or Uganda or Mahalat. No. South Sudan should have been tracking Fisaitana Barakulu. But 17 years, they are still talking about Muniadariku race, Munadariku race, and they're still sitting there. And you can see this is purely the Nas Derniakulves. They've got nothing to do with the future for the children or anything. No. So you're thinking about them, they should have program for the kids. That is you're just being generous.
Yeah. It's a lot of programs, especially we are in the diaspora, that it targeted the yellow for preschools, where they ask their inspiration, what they want to be, and that will detect what they want to be, and government will be employ all the resources to do that for them. لكن أنا يالنا ديل جانا صغير بيقول أنا داير نكون كوماندا. جانا صغير بيكون داير يشوف داير أنا داير قروش. That's now inspiration for them.
تديو حلاوة وما داير حلاوة.
And that's asking for money is very dangerous. إنه إنت بيجا جانا بيجا بي look after material, he will try to get it by all means.
Yeah.
And the واقع is حاجة كمان. واقع ده ما في أي قروش وبيقدر يلقاه. And that's في ناس أنا بعرف ناس families وصلوا لسيتويشن الولد بيبيع بيت أمه قاعد فوقه.
Yep.
That's في South Sudan وفي جوبا بالذات. you agree with Nas Mujrimin Tani, you sell your mother house while she's staying in that house and she's not aware. انت تشيل اوراق بتحت هناك انت تعلمت اجرام. And is that in itself is showing that in your upbringing there is something wrong with that by الكلام ده. and
Yeah.
and because of those crises انت بيخليك تكون انسان زي ده.
Mm.
أها. يعني انت وليد بيقول عليه شنو، ما وليد الصدفه، وليد الظروف كمان. ده
Group,
بيبقى انت
exactly.
وليد ظروفك. بيبقى ما وليد
True.
الصدفه.
Yeah, that's all good. That's thank you so much, Sister Lurit, for coming up and participating, sharing this. For our viewers, those who are viewing, the link is there. If you want to come up, please, I'll post the link again. Just follow the link, and you will come here. If you don't want to come on the camera, you can come just like our sister here. You can come with the camera, but put your camera down. That's fine. We can come and say something. Otherwise, sister, it will look like if nobody is coming up, we can wrap up and then
No worries.
move on to Clubhouse.
Yes.
Next time we continue the discussion at Clubhouse, and also for the viewers, if you have an account to follow us on Clubhouse, follow us on Clubhouse. Perhaps you might find some courage there, because there's no camera there. There's only voice. So you might be able to say something as much as you want there. So, but other than that, we were talking about the stolen childhood of the children of South Sudanese. Who is responsible? And I do honestly believe that these children needs to be compensated. They need to be rehabilitated. A lot of these children, some of them are now adults, and I can say these are walking, ticking bombs among us. Those are who are back home. By the way, this remember something. Do we remember the killing of the 3 children في جبل كان؟
Yeah, very brutal killing. الفوجو case وفوجو ولد kill those. ضبح عيال ده. That's very sad.
So you can almost witness a case like that, and you can track down the background of the culprit, and you might find out that they've lost their childhood at some point, and they're just sitting there as a ticking time bomb. That was the message I was trying to put out there. That we have a lot of time bombs there in South Sudan, in Juba and Raw and Malakal, in all the major cities. We have them. And some of them are out here, but because things are out here that making them a little bit busy, some of them might never explode. They got diffused over time. I'm talking bombs, no? So they get diffused over time, but that's the reality. The reality is the lucky ones might sort of, those who are curious by nature, they will start doing other things and get this course before they know it, they've gone and they've grown old and they've done things and grow old and settle, waiting for their grave walk. So those ones are out here. But my problems are with those back home, where the situation never changes. The situation always looks the same. Morning looks like evening, evening looks like morning. How do these ones survive? Because these are the real ticking bombs. Because the day they have no money, they turn at night. Now it's good still. They're trying to conduct operations at night to loot people and loot houses and kill people. But what becomes of them when trying to even conduct that operation at night becomes dangerous to them? And I'm talking about now there is a new system in place. Now you cannot conduct an operation, not even in your dream. What will become of them? That's when these people true self will start manifesting itself. So, Junubin, what I'm saying here is important. If you think that's just a bit of a waste of time that we've just done here with my sister, think about it twice. What we have said in 1 hour and a half is enough to cover these generations and to resolve their issues. So, my sister, if you have last words to say before we move on to Clubhouse, would be great.
Yeah, thank you for bringing up this issue, because we need to think about the future generation, and it's very important and key thing, and it's not something to talk about it in one show. Maybe in the future also establish something like that. And I can't stress enough, it's very important, to look after these children and talk about the traumas that they are going through during this war, and have open a dialogue with them, because those things is not just, they have their story to tell. And I always know that in those children, when they talk, they make a good that sometimes they are very quiet and silent when the time for bombing, because they have a story to tell. And that's why I see mothers during this time of Ukraine. Most of them, they say, we just tell them that everything gonna be okay. It's just giving assurance. We don't even have that for our kids, because the future is very dark, and they saw it by their own eyes. And we need to start a conversation about those children more and more, and how to be related to them. If you are an auntie or an uncle or a brother or a sister, to be related to those kids and make something in their life, they will thank you for it one day. Yeah, that's what I want to conclude. Shukran.
Thank you so much. Viewers, thank you for being here with us. This topic is not an exhaustive topic yet. It is something that we can all discuss it in our small groupings anywhere we go. We can continue this conversation. We're going to continue this conversation. Follow us in the Clubhouse Zoom TV discussion group. It is live now. If you move to the Clubhouse, we will have a bit of a thorough discussion to discuss this for those who wants to participate, but they couldn't do it here because of either network, or they don't want their faces to be seen on camera. So please move along to Clubhouse. I'll be playing a song while I'll catch up with everyone in Clubhouse for the continuous discussion. I'll bring up some people who are in Clubhouse. I'll bring you guys up if you are awake. I hope so. Yep. That's good. Is that Son of Equatoria? Yep. You can come up, man. And this is, you can come up while I'm coming. I'm not sure, but I think Sister Gune is sleeping.
Freedom, 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 yes, freedom, 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 yes, freedom. Some people would say separation is the key. Some people would stay and pretend to be free. Some would be staying in dilemma. my God created me and gave me all the things I need. Who are you to stop me from being who I am? Who are you to take away what I have? Who are you to stop me from being who I am? Who are you to take away what I have? Freedom, 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 yes, freedom, 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 yes, freedom. I can say, I deserve the right to say, I cannot stay a second-class citizen in my mama land. You can say, you deserve the right to say, do you want to stay a second-class citizen in your mama land? Sharia laws must no longer be my love. I'll be okay, free and proud with you, my love. Freedom, 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 yes, freedom, freedom.